choice of colors, which one would you choose, my brothers? If there was no day or night, which would you prefer to be right? How long have you hated your white teacher? Who told you you love your black preacher? Do you respect your brother's woman friend? And share with black?
R.A.M. sent me. Today, we're on a different level today. I know I've done 5 episodes and I be all over the place. And that was intended to be because I had to put a lot of different scenarios out in the world. Now, today, we're going to kind of slow it down and get to some reality. Now, the reality of the matter is God is always on time. Now, we're going to dwell a little bit on my covenant with R.A.M. Now, the R.A.M.S Association was formulated for me and my endeavors of life because I've enjoyed a fairly damn decent life, man. You understand? Because I tried to understand certain things pertaining to who I am. Because when I went to the creator I am, I understood that he was in control of all things, not just some of them. Now, we understand that the creation was created in the depths of darkness. So to be black in America, myself, I came from the depths of the darkness. So I was down there and I had no choice but to rise up. That was the design order for darkness. Darkness had to rise. In the first cycle of the creation, it was all darkness. And we have rose from 360. Oh, I want to correct something I said on my last program when we were talking about darkness and light and the cycle. I made a mistake and said 365. The cycle is only 360, so excuse my ignorance. I just wanted to rectify that mistake. Now, because when you start talking about the creation and truth, you cannot have non-truth, nonsense, all that other bullshit that's of the negative. That's none. So when we left the first cycle in the first beginning of the creation that was created in the depths of the dark, we left 360 and went to 359. That's when we first got our first taste of light, because that was the first rising. You left 1 degree to the next degree and we was rising up. So we rose up from 360 all the way to 1 in the first cycle of darkness. And that's where the creation was arrived from, the dark. Now, once we left we have risen to the first degree, we had completed our cycle of the dark. And that's everything that comes with dark, including dark man. Then once we got to the 1, we had to fall back down to grace, because I am made man fall so he can understand the reality of the reiteration. Now, to be done over, that's why our Heavenly Father, the Holy Spirit, that dwell within all men, not just black men, not just white men, but all men. And he gave that creature of man the will to choose. Now, once we got the choice that we can choose from, then let's understand the word choice. Spell choice, C-H-O-I-C-E. To char is to burn. To ice is to freeze. So when you have a choice, you got a choice to start it or stop it. And whatever goes along with the choices that you make is your will. Because God gave man the will to choose. Not the choice to choose, but the will. And the choices come within whatever your will is. What will you or what will you not do? And that's all things. Man will do every goddamn thing that God created, because God created all things. So let's not get things twisted. So once God gives you the authority to have certain abilities to do his will, because that's all we do for God, is to serve the will of man, what we will and will not do. Now, let's get into the covenant of the R.A.M.S Association now that we got the will out the way. In time, which we were discussing in the beginning of the creation, the creation came in the depths of darkness. But God also said for the second cycle, let there be light. Now that we are in this second cycle of the light, light had to start at 1. Darkness had already fell back to grace to the 360. Once light started to fall, because light cannot rise because it started on 1 at the lily of the white. That's why we so ignorant and call the light man white man and the dog man black man. That's ignorance. We are dog men and we are light men. One comes from the light and one comes from the darkness. The first man comes from the darkness, and the second man of the light came from the second cycle of the light. Now, what God did for man, and the theologians teaches throughout the theologies, that you're supposed to be one-sided. If you don't love Christ and always be good, then you're not a Christian. That's some bullshit. One thing for a fact, God gave man good and evil, and they both have an equal amount. Man has got so misplaced within his choosings to where we don't want to give God the glory and the honor of mankind. Because mankind is so ignorant and greedy and selfish, we all want it our way. And that's understandable, because that's what God gave the creature of man within the will to choose, is dominancy. And if you're going to dominate something, you got to control it. So let's be realistic about the controlling and the controlling factors of mankind. We are so ignorant to where we will refuse to honor God's request for man. And it's not only just a request, it's something that's got to be done. It's no other way around God's love for man. God loved man so much the way he gave you a will to choose. And we have chosen to distort the world and deceive the world to think that the world is going to destroy itself. That's some bullshit too. The world will never destroy itself. The only thing that's going to be destroyed in this world is our ways. We have the ways of white supremacists, which only deals with wealth. The light had to receive its wealth. That's why R.A.M, our Father, told his children to watch out for the deceptions, because that's where the ignorant lies. See? So the only problem that mankind have on this earth in the United States of America is ways. Our ways are so conflicting to where we keep an uproar. And that's normal also. Because if you don't have the negative, then you would never understand the positive. And what man had to learn, and the lesson that was learned. And finally, we are in the level of understanding on the 180 degrees of the second cycle. So now let's understand timing now. The second cycle has only went halfway. In the year 2022, we are in a state to where we understand what God did for man, and finally we are in the middle. Light have no more than darkness. Light none fell 180 degrees, darkness none rose 180 degrees in this era. Because if you understand something, we ain't back there where the slavery was being done, the Caucasian was beating our back by force, the Caucasian was making us work for free. And one thing about the ladder of life, you got somebody on the top, somebody in the middle, and somebody on the bottom. The black man, as you want to call yourself, I prefer to be called a dark man. The dark man was always on the bottom because that's where the creation was created, on the bottom. Because in order to rise to the top, you got to start from the bottom. So be thankful to be a dark man, because we have the authority to rise. We have risen so far 180 degrees in the second cycle of the light, because the first cycle was darkness, where there was no light, there was no sight, there was only vision. And that's why my covenant with God teaches you to stay focused, because focus is where the vision lives. The sight is where the knowing lives. I can see it to be. In the dark, I know it to be. That's why man knows all things. So what God did for the R.A.M.S Association, he gave me the authority to see. And I see clear, because I'm at the 180 degrees of my understanding. I'm in the middle right now. And anytime you're going to rectify something, you have to always rectify it from the center. You got to start in the middle. If you don't meet it in the middle, then you don't know it honestly, because you're one-sided. Once you're in the middle, you can see both sides, this side and that side, and both of them have an equal amount. So in America, man have only one problem. We don't have no problem with unity amongst each other. We just have a problem with uniting finances, because the greedy always have the majority, because the majority rule. That's why when people start talking that bullshit about capitalism and racism, don't get that shit twisted, because capitalism is racism. It ain't got nothing to do with bigotry. But they want you to think that if you're a goddamn racist, you hate a motherfucker. You do not. You just want his money. Because the racist is the one that won the race, and they control the majority. See, that's racism. Bigotry, when I can't stand your ass, you better leave me the fuck alone, because I hate you. That's bigotry. It ain't got nothing to do with my money. I woke up this morning with $1,800 in my pocket. Thank God that I can have pocket money. You know? And I'm still broke. And I woke up with $1,800 in my goddamn pocket money. But I'm still fucking broke, because my mortgage is damn near $1,600 every month. And I've been paying that motherfucker for 10 years. And every year, here go these goddamn stupid capitalists talking about some shit about your escrow went up. So now your mortgage payment went up. Every year, you go to the grocery store, you get a pack of goddamn bacon, $16. That's motherfucking inflation. That's capitalism. That's economics. The only problem motherfuckers got is money problems. And the Caucasians don't have that problem, because they have great wealth. And they are the races that controlling the masses. And it ain't just a black and white thing. It's a motherfucking money thing. Because black folk got money, white folk got money, but everybody who got some goddamn money is struggling like a motherfucker because you ain't got enough money. And when the society say that it takes $35 an hour to qualify for a one-bedroom apartment, then how in the hell you gonna be able to support yourself and your goddamn family making $20 an hour, bringing home $300-400 a week? You understand? That's $1,600 goddamn month. That's my mortgage. What I supposed to do about my light bill? What I supposed to do about my gas bill? What I supposed to do about my motherfucking gas in the car? What about my children that need some shoes? What about my neighbor that goddamn low on his finances and he needs some financial help? Now, what God told Ramsey to do is to go and let me reiterate that word, to redeem $60 billion to start the R.A.M.S Association Community Center. Because the world, being realistic now, let's be honest with some shit. Now, we can talk all the craziness in the world, but the reality of the matter, if you black in America, motherfucker, you ain't never been considered economically. We don't have, I need $200,000 right now to renovate my home for the things I want to do. I need a 5-car garage so I can teach my young children how to come and do automotive. Because I ain't the kind of mechanic that want to work laying on the goddamn ground. I like to jack my shit up and get up under and do things. But we need to teach and educate our people. So out of the $60 billion of the R.A.M.S Association, what it's being used for is to start the R.A.M.S Community Center. We need to introduce people. I ain't just talking black people. I'm talking all of us, black and white, because you got just as many white people struggling like black people. So we can't point the goddamn finger. They talking about, oh, it's the white folk fault. No, it's economic fault. Because one thing about it, if we don't start re-educating our children and reuniting us as people to start socializing, because we live in a goddamn society that don't nobody socialize. Now, this is the key to rectification. We need to build facilities. We need housing. Motherfuckers, I get 10, 15, 30, 40, 50 calls every goddamn day. Mr. Ramsey, do you know where I can go rent somewhere to live? Mr. Ramsey, my children ain't got nothing to eat. Mr. Ramsey, we had to go buy a goddamn pack of bologna and feed 115 people. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense that we have to struggle this way economically. We only have problem with our finances. So I ain't talking about what happened, how it happened, when it happened, or even fucking why it happened. I'm talking about it's happening. And the reality of it all is, God damn it, it's happening. Motherfuckers broke. We broke. We ain't got no money. And the motherfucker that got $2 or $3, they struggling like hell because inflation taking that little bitty shit you done saved. I went from $700,000 in my saving when I started the R.A.M.S Foundation, because I've always had a decent job and a decent life. I grew up a boss. My daddy had service stations. My brothers got nightclubs and stuff. We always been boss. We were boss children. We boss men. But we goddamn it broke, man, because we don't have enough money to suffice the need. So the little $60 billion that I am and myself agreed to within our covenant to build the R.A.M.S Association is for you guys. It's for all of us. It's so we can put the world in order. Because we don't have a bad world, we have a bad economic system. If you say that it takes $35 an hour to qualify for a one-bedroom apartment, then God forbid you got any children. What when your child tell you, mama, or daddy, I'm leaving home? And notice how I put mama first. Because the society, for the black man, we've been discriminated, we've been took apart, torn apart, but we never been stopped rising. Because that one thing man can't do, he cannot stop darkness from rising, because dark is always on the rise and light is always going to fall. And if you're going to be honest, we must come together and support the R.A.M.S Foundation in the sum of $60 billion, and that's just for my association. That's not to save the world. $60 billion ain't enough money to do nothing with but keep my association stable. because that's what the R.A.M.S Foundation do, is stabilize my associates. What we do is keep you focused and keep you stable. And the only thing we want to keep you focused on is economics. Not what goddamn it tore you down, but how much money you got. How you gonna utilize your money. How you gonna re-educate the ignorant motherfuckers that got a high school diploma and can't even spell school. That's the way that the system was designed. They pass you through shit. They give you a little bit and keep you pacified. But they don't want you to realize that you are the one that's in control of your power. And power is money. If you ain't got no money, you ain't got no power. So if you gonna keep on living in this world pointing fingers on why and why not, then you goddamn stupid. You better start focusing on the money, because the money is the controlling factor. Money is power. So don't get shit twisted. Money is what controls. And God told man by the writing of the theologians that there will be great wealth by the time my people, the black man, was released from bondage. Now, if you're going to accept the reality of the writing and what's supposed to come to pass, the first slave came to America in 1619. So if that's the case, then goddamn, we supposed to have been released from bondage in 2019. And that's just what time it is. So let's look at time and reality. The black man has finally been released from bondage. But nobody in the black society that y'all want to keep calling us to redeem anything that was taken from us. So if we were released from bondage in 2019, then the year 2020 was the year of redemption. Look it up, read about it. It's all in the writings. And if the year 2020 was the year of redemption, why ain't nobody gave me my shit back they took from me? When I started smoking crack in 1979, I was working for United Parcel Service. In 1986, I quit my job to become a full-time crackhead. I went to the goddamn system and told them, because they told me, well, Mr. Ramsey, we found some marijuana in your system. So some cocaine, because marijuana, that was 79. In 86, it was crack cocaine. So now, you either got a choice is to go find you some help or resign. And I'm asking these stupid motherfuckers, what I've been paying union dues for the last 7, 8, 9 years. Goddamn, where's my support? So I did not receive any support from the union. So I had to become homeless and unemployed after that stage, because my dumb ass was smoking crack. So you know I ain't finna do nothing else but spend my money on some dope. Fuck the shit. You know, because anytime you got a substance that controlling your dopamine, which is your pleasure nerve, you ain't finna do nothing else but what's pleasing you. And what was pleasing me with that ignorant was getting goddamn geeked up. And that's just the truth of the matter. And me and my crew went through a lot of goddamn money. I'm talking about millions of dollars, because I hung out with the best thugs, the best whores, the best niggas, the best goddamn antichrist motherfuckers. Oh, we was out there. We went through a lot of money. And that's reality. So we ain't never had no problem with no money, man. So people don't have problem with money. They have problem with misdirection of their money and the control of the capitalist, which controls this goddamn masses. Everybody goddamn want to talk a whole bunch of dumbass shit, and yeah, I'm cussing because I'm upset because old nigga told me yesterday, I was at the park store. Let me talk to you, brother. I said, what you want, Mr. Man? He said, God wants you to love your women. I said, man, I love women. The hell you talking about? Well, why you be cussing around? Now I said, man, fuck you. You ain't gonna tell me how to goddamn talk. As I'm one of them women, have I ever disrespected them? Because I ain't put my hand down right now in one of the goddamn throats. I ain't tried to hurt nobody. And disrespecting me is when I try to hurt you. Because you can't tame the tongue, so you ain't gonna tell me shit about goddamn how I talk. Fuck. I came from the hood, motherfucker. I'm a hood rat. We always cussed. The fuck you mean? I can't cuss. Shit. I love God just as much as the motherfucker that say they speak English. You know? And then I be spitting on folks because they got no teeth. Shit. But I love living. And I'm thankful for me. And I love the life that I went through. I love the shit that I had to endure. Because one thing about it, a man like me, I seek God honestly. And I know God is all things. So I'm not going to be a one-sided person and talking about I'm always good, because that's bullshit. I ain't never want to always be good. Even when I was a child, my mama used to take her to church. I go to church, motherfucker in the pulpit talking about, oh, praise to the Lord and Jesus Christ. You better meet Jesus on the cross, because Jesus had to endure it, goddammit, and he did it on both sides. That's why he was Christian. So you better understand the crucifixion. If you're going to deal with Christ and the theologics, then you better understand what Christ's purpose was. And it was to endure all things. That's why he was the begotten child. We ain't begotten. We didn't have to endure it all. He did. And he did it just for us. So let's seek God for real, people. And let's goddamn it unite, because that's God's purpose for man, is for man to grow into unity. That's why we rose from darkness to light. That's why I embrace the light, because I love the light. I even love them light-skinned folks, because they did their goddamn job and they did it well. They put that shit right in your face so you can see it. They weren't like the dark. We did the shit behind your back because we was in the dark. You can't see shit in the dark. But you knew we were back there. Nigga, I know you back there. Come on over. Look at Mac. Look at Mac smiling. Okay, y'all. I appreciate you, man. I hope you got something out of this message, right? Because it's dead ass serious. Let's support the R.A.M.S Foundation, because we're going to retrieve this $60 billion so we can continue our journey of the uprise.